Back with the bearded life. Looks good, right? Looks even better, right? Welcome. Happy Saturday, guys. It's another weekend, and we are back live for another one. We just keep growing this beard and hopefully continue to keep it nice and well maintained. And, with proper maintenance, will be a pretty good looking beard. And that's the goal, the 3-year beard. 3 years is a long time, but hope you guys are having a great weekend. And yeah, it's been pretty fun lately. I actually just switched jobs. I ended up going from EEG work to rehabilitation technician. So I'll be working with more people who need rehabilitation, like sprained ankles, geriatrics, people who hurt their knee that need to kind of help strengthen their core, or after an injury, or just pretty much a whole plethora of that. So I'm really excited because it's a nice step away from having to do mobile work, because my EEG job, or the neurofeedback job, was a lot of mobile work. I had to drive, use my own personal vehicle to get to patients, and I did that for 3 years. So, you know, it's a nice change of pace, whereas as opposed to going different places, I can actually just go from to a rehabilitation hospital, and that's just one location. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, full time. So I get my weekends off. So I can't be any more happier. It's the best of both worlds, of having to, work full time and get your weekends off. So very happy for that. And again, there's potential for growth. So I'm really excited for this next step of my career, which I work in healthcare. And I've been working in healthcare for about 10 years at least. So it's a good uh, industry if you want to help people, and uh, feel like you're fulfilled, like you're doing something nice for people. uh, and that's how I feel. I feel nice and fulfilled. I feel it feels good. It feels good to work in healthcare. So it's a hard job, for some positions, but rehabilitation technician doesn't seem too bad. I just, I'm pretty much in a workout center, like sort of around workout equipment, and I help patients just strengthen and condition their muscles and their joints, and I get to help people out with that type of work. So I'm really happy about it. Can't wait. I start next week. So excuse me. Hopefully you guys are having a good weekend. I am having a great weekend. Actually, I've been pretty lazy lately. I've been really lazy. I'm not gonna be. I will be honest. I'm not gonna lie. I've been super lazy, especially in between this new employment, which I can't be any more excited about. But yeah, I just been like sitting around. I've been wanting to play video games. I've been just wanting to relax until I have to go back to work next week for full time. So, and anyways, it's a nice little stay vacation, or staycation, as my wife put it. She's like, "How are you enjoying your staycation?" I'm like, "Man, I'm enjoying it way too much, because I feel like I hit this like motivational, uh, you know, downpour of no motivation at all. I have been struck in with no motivation at all. But I'm getting back into it because I got to do some puppet work. I got to do other things, and I gotta, life goes on, right? So, anyways, that's a little bit of a sort of a wrap up on my end for the week and what's been going on as an update. And without further ado, let's get into the bearded legend of the week. So today's bearded legend is. I'm gonna like butcher his name because I've been trying to pronounce it so many times, but I'm just gonna attempt it. Fyodor Dostoevsky. Yes, I did it. Fyodor Dostoevsky. Because I want to say the V in the middle, and somehow my dyslexia is or partial dyslexia is coming through. So Fyodor Dostoevsky. He's a Russian philosopher figure with a classic full beard, as you can see. Let me see if I can zoom in. There you go. Nice little zoom in on that. He represents struggle, resilience, and depth, and fits perfectly for this week because my beard is just getting more filled in, so I can't be any more happier about that. And so, yeah, three strong facts that I would like to drop about Dostoevsky is he survived a mock execution before being sent to prison in Siberia, which is crazy to imagine if that's what it's indicating, a mock execution, meaning that it looks like you are about to be executed, but it's just kind of like it never went through. So pretty scary, pretty anxious, a lot of anxiety he must have gone through when that happened. But the second fact he did was he wrote masterpieces like Crime and Punishment and the brothers Karamazov. Karamazov. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, you know me and my pronunciation skills. Um, and he also explored deep themes like discipline, suffering, and personal growth. Kind of like very similar to a lot of people that were going on in that time. And, you know, so there was a lot of resilience, there was a lot of pushback, there was a lot of, suffering and discipline that he had to go through. So, you know, that's just a few little key strong facts about Fyodor Dostoevsky. So, Dostoevsky, thank you so much for your contributions to your beard. Though you are international in Russia, I still have a little bit of Russian descent. I can only appreciate the world of famous, icons with beards, regardless of their history, regardless of, where they came from. They still are recognized by some of the greatest beards of all time, Fyodor Dostoevsky. That's an even better uh, image right there. So, but yeah, thank you again, Fyodor. You will be remembered for generations to come. So, hopefully, you know how it is. Like nowadays, the newer generations, they just don't want to cover like, history, dating back, even before like the 1600s or anything like that. But um, as Fyodor Dostoevsky is concerned, he was, let me see when he was born, because that kind of would sort of help understand a little bit about, the the timeline. Okay, so 1821 to 1881. So he was only he wasn't that old. He was like what, less than 60 years old or so. Man, that's pretty gnarly. Which again, in 1821, in Moscow, you're kind of what is that like? It's not a lot of I don't know much information regarding that timeline, but Fyodor Mikhailovich Dostoevsky was a Russian philosopher, novelist, short story writer, essayist, and journalist. He is regarded as one of the greatest novelists in both Russian and world literature. That's why I guess I had to mention world, the whole uh, weight of his influence throughout the generations. But yeah, as many of his works are considered highly influential masterpieces, as with the Crime and Punishment and the other one, which I don't want to butcher it again. But if you guys are interested in his work and his books, check out. It's probably on Amazon or whatnot. But anywho, yeah, just another bearded legend to cover. And again, next time I'll try to cover someone from America, someone that maybe a superhero again, or maybe a fictional character. I don't know. But that's the good thing about beards is, whether they are real or not, they do still have impact and influence on all of us around the world, including someone who I probably might want to include is from Harry Potter, the the other guy, um, Haggard. Haggard, yeah. I might use Haggard in one bearded legend. So because he's definitely very known for his beard. You're a wizard, Harry. Anyways, enough about that. Let's go into the chat because I know some people have been saying hi. Olivia, how you doing? Henry, how you doing? What made you shave off that year, long beard? Weren't you gonna put it in a competition? Yeah, that was the what the beard year beard 10 years ago. Yeah, that was probably my plan. For some reason, I guess it was just like things that were going on in my life that I could not be available to do any beard competitions during that time. There was a falling out with a relationship. There was also like going back and forth between Vegas and California, and going back to Vegas to kind of reestablish my life, single and everything. But enough of that. It was just it just wasn't in the cards. But you mentioned beard competition. This is something that I really want to do this time around, and I'm just trying to do some research. I know there's a lot of beard competitions outside of state, so I don't know how accessible that's going to be. I do have my weekends off, so who knows if there's one in Vegas. I would definitely love to sign up for that because, again, I don't think of myself as the greatest beard in the world, but it's pretty fun to be a part of that kind of competition, right? I would be very, very interested in that this time around. So good that you mentioned the beard competition because unfortunately I didn't get to do that the 10 years ago, but I am fully interested in doing that this time around because 6 months into that full year beard, I wasn't doing much. I wasn't putting any conditioner in. I wasn't doing it right. But this time around, I started from just square one, started conditioning, washing. I actually have been upping my conditioning now because I noticed that my beard is almost like very brillowy and very wiry. And if it doesn't have a lot of moisture, then it just becomes very like just stiff and brittle. And it's like, I can't do that. I just need it nice and soft, nice and pliable. So it's not bushy. I don't need a bushy beard this time. I just need a nice, form fitting beard. So it's presentable and it's impressive looking and it's filled out. So hey, I'm doing it right this time around. So thank you, Henry. Um, Also, Henry asks, uh, you look like Karl Marx, the guy who like invented the communist theory, just the beard. You know what? I don't even know what Karl Marx looks like. Let me look. Let me look. Karl Marx. Yeah, yeah, I see that. I see it. You know, despite people's feelings towards certain people about what they did within the past, I'm just going to pull up his picture. Who knows, I might even cover Karl Marx on his as a bearded legend, though he is very controversial. I'm just trying not to do so much controversy when it comes to bearded legends. In fact, there was a suggestion. There he is. So, yeah, that it does make. Oh, whoa, that's a big zoom in on his beard. But yeah, that's. I mean, spitting image, right? Right. I mean, come on. There's so many. I don't know about his hair. Like I don't think my hair can be like that because it looks very like almost like a doll's type of you know pattern. It looks very filled out. I don't know. My head feels out like that. I'm definitely getting a little bit thinner on top, but luckily my beard on just continues. And he had a very unique one where his mustache was completely different from the rest of his beard, which it's kind of similar, but mine just like streaked down all the way. Has different like slithers and stuff, and mine just looks a little bit more different. But I see where you're saying. It just because it's like the white gray beard, it kind of looks like, and plus his beard is really filled out. It's pretty impressive despite who he is as a person. Karl Marx, I don't know, that might be another potential bearded legend, but today is Dostoevsky, Fyodor. But yeah, let's check out a few more. Calvin, how you doing? Welcome. Henry also asks, know who else you could use the guy from Disney movie Merlin? Yeah, I mean, eventually, like after probably within the third year, like my beard's probably going to get down to my belly button. So I'm hoping that's the case. However, I don't know my terminal length. After a while, again, like the beard will stop growing after a certain length. It's almost like, our follicles have like sort of an egg timer. If it's not like pulled out, or if it's left alone, then it almost just sends a little bit of a timer as to how long it's going to get. And then when it's reaches that length, it goes ding, and then it stops growing. And I don't know my terminal length, so I'm kind of excited to assume that maybe I can get to the reach of the Merlin beard. But man, that's such a long beard. That's like that just reminded me of the guy that like I used to. I saw the one of the fathers pick up a kid when I was working as a childcare leader for an after school program like years ago. That was in Los Angeles at Star Education, and it was at one of the schools. And I see the father come in, and man, he's just comes in with this long, long beard, like down to his feet. That's what it reminds me of, is like Merlin's, beard all the ways down to his feet. And I think it kind of curls a little bit too. So I don't know. It's definitely a feat to have that type of patience and that type of resilience to keep a beard long like that. So I don't know. It's a possibility. We'll see. Uh, Henry also asks, yes, when you shave that off the last time in the video, your face looks mad and red. Yeah, I kind of was a little disappointed. And also during that time, it was the summertime. So if you ever been to Las Vegas and there's not like proper AC that's just running through constantly, the summer's going to get really hot. And I think I remember it was at that time I was still sharing an apartment with like one of my friends because I was still in between, trying to get a job. I came back from California to Vegas, and there you go. It was just one of those things where I was really hot that day, you know. And I also get, kind of blotchy if I get too hot. So if I get overheated, you will start seeing red on me. So I don't know if that's any genetics, but it is what it is. So you could also, yeah, you mentioned the Merlin. Uh, Henry also says, Henry is on fire today. You could do a reaction right now. Do you shave off one of your beard just in comparison? I don't know what you mean by that, but uh, I could probably do a reaction of all seeing all those videos of guys shaving their beards off, but like I just don't have the setup for that. I would love to kind of integrate that, which would be great, but so far it's just been kind of easier for me just to use the live on my phone so I don't have to like think about anything. I tried OBS, but yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just much easier for me to kind of just talk to the community. And you're a goofy dude. Well, thank you, Henry. I'm glad. Like I'm actually one of those goofy guys. Specifically, I'm goofy. I'm not as goofy showing it right now, but like yeah, I can get pretty goofy. You put me in a situation and then make people laugh, and I end up saying something goofy, and that's just how I am. I've accepted my fate as a goofy guy. So yeah, thank you for noticing, Andrew. They're my friends. I hope you are doing well. I think you are. I think you should go to Scarborough for a holiday in Yorkshire and at Blue Dolphin Holiday Park, and I think you will enjoy it, my friend. Oh, thank you. Actually, Scarborough, I've heard about that, and yeah, it was a Scarborough. Is that like a beard competition or Renaissance festival thing? Oh yeah. Yeah, I think it would be fun. I mean, where exactly is this? This is in is this in Texas? It's in Texas. Texas is pretty far from Vegas, but I mean, it would be fun. I mean, hey, if I was able to kind of be able to be sponsored and go to these events, and Maybe there's possibly a beard competition right there too, because usually like Renaissance festivals, kind of have those, double pairings. You can bring your armor, but you could also bring your beards as well. So that would be I would pretty much find enjoyment from that. I don't know if my wife would. I think she would probably enjoy just like the turkey legs, and that's it. She's not much of a an outdoors person. She's and plus she's not much into like dressing up in Renaissance garb. Me, on the other hand, I'm open to it, but I mean, I kind of used to do that when I was like a little bit younger. Now I'm kind of just falling out of that, so it's not much of a huge importance for me. But hey, it's nothing says better of a time than a nice Renaissance event. You know what I'm saying? Because just it's fun. I think it's fun. It's a bunch of theater kids too, so it's just everyone's acting, everyone's dressing up, and how bad could that be, right? Sorry, stupid voice to speech should do a reaction to you shaving off the 1 year beard. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I could watch myself like just torturing myself when I shaved off my year beard. Yeah, I could torture myself. I don't find any enjoyment in that either. But like, yeah, I don't. I think it would be interesting to watch myself shave my year beard. Yeah, I think it would be funny. So I'll try to think about that. And, maybe I can set up something. So maybe I'll put in OBS again so I could do that. It's not too hard. It's just uh, I'm afraid of people like hacking, and I had a bad experience with my other channel. It got hacked, and I didn't. I just kind of like got scarred from it. So that's why I went very simply, just point, click, and shoot on a phone instead of just like using OBS, because it is a third party provider service where you use like the codes from like your social media, so it can just attach to it. Anyways, it seems like a fun idea. I'm open to it. Sam, how you doing? It cost you £794 in English money. Isn't that like around 900 or 1,000 in U.S. currency? I think it's like 1.5 times the U.S. currency, I think. So yeah, that's not too bad. I think you and your wife and you will enjoy it, my friend. Yeah, I know. I know I would. Honestly, I would. I probably would enjoy it because I'm a social guy. I like to go around and say hi to people and just kind of be personable, and I'm just that type of person. But my wife, however, is not. She is kind of like more like a very passive, person who just likes to stay at home, do her thing. Maybe every once in a while, take our daughter to something like the Hello Kitty Cafe, get her something, cute. Maybe take some cute pictures and stuff. What girls do. Girls, they just want to, go to a cute little cafe shop, get a little bit of a cute little crumpet, maybe a little bit of a tea, and then take some pictures as they dressed up in like something pink, which is fine. I like femininity. Me personally, I like masculinity. I like the male like. That's why every time I hang out with guys, like I automatically revert back to being a guy and just like shit talking and just making fun of each other. It's fun. It's fun. But when I'm over here, I'm mostly around women, so I have to kind of just like adjust accordingly. Otherwise, I'm going to create problems. I'm going to create problems because if there's one thing I know after the 40 years of living, 41 years of living, is if you're a man, if you're a male, and you're around too many women, it's not going to go well. It's not going to go well. You need to find your little space of being a man, being able to, express yourself in a masculine way, because there's nothing wrong with masculinity. There's also nothing wrong with femininity. It's just two sides of the coin, and sometimes it can pair up to each other. But if there's too much femininity around masculinity, oh my God, it's unbearable. So I always get my time to spend some time by myself, but I love my wife. I love my daughter. Wouldn't imagine my life without them, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just, it's just what it is. It's just what it is. But yeah. And I also observed that if there's too many women in one room, that also can go wrong too. Too many women, just like, like, oh man, it like fights, arguments, like little scowls kind of like happen. And then me, on the other hand, I'm already outside at working. I'm just kind of, in my own peaceful mind. Suddenly I hear, oh my God, my daughter scowled at my wife. So what do I do in regards? Obviously, I'm going to back up my wife. My daughter doesn't disrespect my wife like that, and she doesn't disrespect me. So she's got to learn to respect adults, respect, her family, respect other people, her friends included. So there's a way to go about it, in a nice way. But yeah, I noticed that like, too many women and one man goes wrong. Too many women goes wrong. Like, so it's a balance. It's a balance. I hope you guys understand this, because like if I'm the only one thinking about this, then please tell me, because I'm always okay with being wrong. It's just my opinion. I've observed this over the years, been with so many people, been with so many friends and family members, and it's just what it is. That's the nature of things. Let me scroll up. I think I skipped a few people. Uh, Henry asks, have you ever heard of a thing called the Hairiest Man competition in Texas? There's a guy on the internet who did it a few years ago, and he has a massive amount of chest, like ungodly amount. And those, no, I haven't heard about that. Of course, obviously it's in Texas, right? Texas is usually the state of like big things. So it's like what, like a Texas hairiest man competition. Oh my God. I wouldn't even be close to entering this type of competition. It's like $500 cash prize too. If you are like the hairiest man out there, you can get $500 easy. You might just be compared to Robin Williams. Robin Williams had like, hairy chest, hairy arms, hairy back. He was a hairy guy. And he also had a hairy beard. Speaking of which, that's also another guy I want to mention for the next time. I think that's going to be my next bearded legend, Robin Williams. So a good guy, good guy. But yeah, that's actually a good competition. There's also other competitions where they slap each other and stuff, which is, I don't understand that competition. But I feel like if you want instant brain damage, if you want instant micro concussions, then yeah, just go ahead and do that competition. You know, some people just end up doing things for the wrong reasons. But you know, I don't have like, that much hair. I kind of like shaved a little bit because I work in healthcare, so I have to, kind of trim down just the extremities and the arms, and just so I can kind of make myself look a little bit more presentable, because I'm working with patients. They don't want to see like a hairy guy coming in. I can be hairy, but I'm definitely not scary. That was another like old keep it hairy but not scary. I remember mentioning that like 10 years ago in the earlier videos, which is funny. I was trying to come up with like some type of catchphrase, keep it hairy but not so scary, and always care for your beard. uh, yeah, so yeah, that sounds like a fun competition. I don't know if I would be able to enter that. Andrew says, I think you and your family will enjoy your holiday because you have been going there for 13. Oh, because meaning you, have been going there for 13 years in Blue Dolphin Holiday Park in Yorkshire, Yorkshire. Actually, that's in England, Yorkshire. Yeah. Okay. Now I know what I'm talking about. And now I know what you're talking about, which is, for some reason, I thought it was in Texas, but maybe it might be another type of similar, Anywho, I went to Leamington Spa, um, but yeah, there's Leeds over there, there's Manchester, and there's just a bunch of good places to kind of like, if you're interested in that type of um, landscapes and landmarks. I was gonna say landmarks, but I said landscapes. I don't know why, but pretty sure there's beautiful landscapes over there too. So, but yeah, when I was there in Leamington Spa, it was very beautiful, and it was only there for 2 weeks. So just visiting my aunt, while she was there for maybe about half a month to almost a year, doing an art project. But yeah, New says, "Hello, Uncle. Been a while. Wait, are you who I think you are? You would be perfect for Santa for real. Just grow it a little bit more, and you're good." Or Odin, perfect. Ooh, Odin is a good one. I like that. Santa Claus, of course, I'm going to eventually bring up. Santa Claus is the bearded legend. But yeah, don't know who you really are, but I could probably be your uncle. It doesn't matter. I'm just old enough to be an uncle. The cool bearded uncle, right? Anywho, um, Henry says, Devin Kara entered the Hairy Man competition in Texas. You should check out his YouTube channel. It is hilariously gross. Well, why would I want to watch it if it's hilariously gross? I mean, that actually kind of sounds interesting, to be honest. If I just want to watch some gross things with men usually like have that idea. It's like, hey, you want to poke a dead body? You want to go see something gross? You want to go, snot rocket? It's like some some guys are just like that's just how they are, and I implore that. I think that's good. um would you like to be in a movie someday? You know what, I had this idea where eventually after maybe doing a beard competition or two, I'll get discovered, and then I'll be able to be the one of the characters in another like movie, just like a not like too many lines, but like just like one little like stand-in character. Like I might be in the slightly in the background. I'll be like maybe a troll, or some elf, or some guy like just ready for like action. Maybe the new adaptation of Lord of the Rings or something. I don't know, but it would be fun. I won't say no to that. Um, you can get 3 drinks, beer for £5 and 2 meals for 20. I would assume that's a good. Uh, that's a good meal, or like that's a good. Yeah, it's probably worth it, I guess. I don't know the currency, and translating that to how much money that would be over here. But if it's like $20, £20, that's like what, 25, like $27 for 2 meals. That's pretty good. That's a good deal. You know, that's a good deal. I like that. And then 3 drinks of beer for like £5. That's like around like what, eight, $9. That's pretty good too. I like it. Um, yeah, of course, cool uncle. Thank you. You should look it up right now. I probably can't because I promised my daughter that I'd get her something, so I do have to wrap it up. But I do appreciate you guys coming in the chat. Like it means the world to me that you guys just come in, just say hi on a weekend. You guys could be doing something on a Saturday, but you chose to come and watch me. You know, making a fool of myself as usual. But hey, until the next time, you guys have a great one. I will see you next Saturday for the next live. And I also upload for another video tomorrow. So take care, guys. Have the rest of a great weekend.